Welcome back to another video. It's been a crazy week in our Depin projects. One of them that seems to be the craziest, most volatile, or just seems to have the most attention drawn to it is going to be DIMO. And today was the DIMO AMA. And I took notes just so I can come back, and for those of y'all who work and couldn't make it today, I can come back and do a video for y'all. So first of all, welcome everybody. I'm the Grumpy Dad, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I try to bring more of a real life YouTube experience for y'all, and that's basically because I'm too old to know how to do all the crazy editing of and production and stuff like that. So I just get on the mic and pretend like people want to listen to what I gotta say, and I try to be real with people. Try to be very honest, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. Sometimes people say I'm too negative, but it's me being honest. So before we go any further, please make sure you do one favor for me and like this video down there. It greatly helps the channel. YouTube will be convinced that I'm a real channel one day. It helped me out push more videos, and it helps all the projects that I have tagged below. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell notification. Also, I have my Twitter X on this side. I can remember the point opposite. And I have Discord, and that link's in the description below, and it covers all the projects we talk about. So now that I got that out the way, here we are. We have DIMO today. So first thing I do want to tell y'all is that Grumpy does own the tokens that we discuss. In the majority of these videos, I want to talk from experience, so I'm in these projects. DIMO is one that I have been in for about 18 months now. And on Mondays, I do a video where I discuss all our projects that I'm in. It might be 14 or 15 of them right now, and how we're doing it and what we make weekly, daily, and that kind of stuff like that. And one thing I do discuss is DIMO. And 18 months ago, I bought 3 devices for $89 a piece. DIMO had a special at the time. If you bought 3 or more, you can get it from $89 each plus shipping. I jumped at it and put 3 in my family's vehicles. About 2 months ago, I had a friend come to me and said, "Hey, aren't you in DIMO?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Here's 2 boxes. What you mean?" And he said, "I'm going to give you these 2 boxes because hearing what the rewards are, I bought them a while back when he told me about it. I never hooked it up. I thought he had them hooked up. Brand new, still sealed at the time. And I installed those in 2 additional vehicles that I could. So for the last 2 months, I have been making basically free rewards. I didn't have to worry about ROI. And with those 5 devices, 18 months later, I still have not ROI'd on my original 3 devices I bought for $270, not even including tax. Right now, even with DIMO, the price it is now, I still have about $250 worth of DIMO because their price is continuously going down. So the reason I bring all that up is because right now we're averaging somewhere between $5, $6, $7 a month, depending on what device you have, how much it's linked. Is it just a macaron that's linked? Is it an autopod that's linked? Is it the new LTE R1? Depending on what you have linked, you're making somewhere between 5, 6, 7. If it's the macaron, maybe a little bit more. If it's one of the other ones, autopods or the R1s. But majority of people making no more than about $9 or $10 a month. So last week, DIMO announces that after letting us slide for a while, they will be enacting August 1st subscriptions. They said the AutoPi, you knew that when you bought it, if you read the fine print, you were going to get a year or 2 of connectivity. And after that, you would have to pay for the SIM cost, which is the connectivity to the DIMO project. The macarons, I swear, and I'll still continue to say, I never saw anything about connectivity charges because we knew it was going to Helium, and we knew Helium had some pretty rock bottom connectivity charges. But they're trying to say that the fine print said 3 years after you purchased it is when your free period would end and you would have to start paying connectivity. So for me, I have 18 months left, if I figure it out right here or there, before I have to start worrying about the connectivity. And some people have, I have 1 or 2 loud mouths. So I guess that means I made it. But haters that I just block on Discord because I'm too old and too tired for it. And basically say that I'm not allowed to complain because I still have 18 months left. No, that's not how this works. If you have the LTER1, I will give it to them. It's been made very clear from day one that after a certain period, you would have to pick up that cellular cost. And I tried warning people that you don't want to get stuck in that because you don't want to get stuck in these cellular costs. Some people listened, some people didn't. So the issue, but they also, I don't think they knew how much this was going to cost. And the problem is that's the problem we kind of have with majority of this is it's one thing to have to help pay for the connectivity. The problem is the cost when you're making $6 or $5, $6, $7 a month, but the cost for subscription, depending on which project it is, the AutoPi or the R1 LTE or LTE R1, whatever it's called, it's like $9 something a month. If you have the macaron is going to be a reduced rate. It's like $1 less a month, which will be $8.99 a month, or $80 a year if you want to pay for the yearly subscription, which it averages to about $6.66. So again, with the macarons I have, I'm averaging $6 a month. Why would I pay $9 subscription? So that's where we are, and we started this AMA today. I want to say there's probably about 70, 75 people in it. They admitted basically from the first 5 minutes that they are not a big bulk data sales company. And I'm trying to give my kind of 2 cents in between this without making this go way too far. I think that's where, not that I'm defending them, please just let me finish. I think that's where a lot of us got this wrong at. And looking at the Twitter, looking at Discord, looking at YouTube comments, I think majority of us understood it that way also, where, hey, y'all are getting all this information. This project was supposed to be about, hey, right now your auto manufacturer and stuff is kind of stealing that data from you, if you want to use that term, because you're not getting compensated for it. But they're still there. GM or Toyota or Ford, I doubt Dodge has it. They probably don't even have computers in their cars yet. BMW, they're getting all that aggregated data in, and then they're turning around and selling it for some monetary value to some company somewhere. So DIMO says, we believe you should be getting compensated for that. And they made it appear that they were receiving all that information from the DIMO devices and that they would be selling it to some customer. And then you're getting paid DIMO for uploading that information. Well, it's been made perfectly clear that that is not the case here. Now, what some people argue is that DIMO made it appear that way from the beginning. That model is failing. And now they're saying, oh, guys, we didn't really promise you that we were going to sell your data. We were giving you the opportunity to sell your data. We're giving you the connectivity that normally Chevy or somebody's going to charge you for these diagnostic fees. If you want to look at if I want this certain app on a phone, I got to pay extra for it, and you're paying for that connectivity so that you can do car unlocking and look right now and see what my oil change percentage is and my fuel level and that kind of stuff like that. And they're saying, well, that's all you're doing here is when you look on the app, you can see some of that kind of stuff. And, you're paying the connectivity for going from your device, your macaron, your R1 or whatever it is, to pay for it to go into our servers. And that's what they're trying to say now. Again, of course, now they can find certain websites and certain web pages that it was kind of explained like that. But a lot of us will argue that that's not the way it came across as intended 6 months, 12 months, 2 years ago when this project started. It was supposed to be a data aggregation where it appeared that all of our data was going to them, because now they're making it out to, yeah, we're uploading it and it's available for you to sell. And I argue that I'm not on Craigslist trying to sell data to my 2024 GMC 2500 diesel pickup truck. Now they got a couple of apps that you can connect to and possibly sell your data to. You're not getting paid separately from them companies. You're still getting paid the same amount of DIMO. That's where some of this doesn't make sense at. But let me keep going. They're not meant to sell user data. They made that again clear as they discussed this. The user is not trying to use products that DIMO offers. They're basically connecting for the tokens. And they admitted this is not reasonable for them. That's not what this project is intended for. So the average customer, this is Rob, I think it's Rob Solomon. Basically, he's admitting that they're not looking for people. It's not sustainable for them. People who just want to go buy an AutoPi or R1 or LTER1, whatever it's called, you purchasing it and just sticking it on there and thinking you're collecting some DIMO, that's not sustainable to them. That's not a sustainable practice for them. And it ain't going to work. They're admitting that. This is meant for your data to be sold to other companies and you somehow connecting to these other companies. But somewhere else, they also admit that they're not getting these companies on board like they thought they would, which is a whole nother scary thing. That let's just say, okay, hey man, we agree. We were all, hey Rob, what's up, man? Yeah, like I apologize. Maybe we did misunderstand. I had too much Bywater bourbon that day. I understand. Hey man, you just helping me pay for the connectivity to get my information off the OB2 port and up to the server, so I can choose where I want to sell it to, Walmart or something. And, I appreciate it. But then he's also admitting that there's nobody to sell it to a point. At least that's how I understood it. So we'll keep going. This is more of like a connection protocol. It's not really a sensor network for data mining. A connection protocol. Basically, DIMO is your connection. With helium, you might have bought a helium sensor. Let's just pretend this is a sensor, and a water sensor. I had water sensors on my towers through helium. Fluffy, if you know, Fluffy shot me. He helped me rack my brain out of getting an IoT sensor hooked up. I also had some temperature sensors. Fluffy had them at his server rooms because it took one water leak in a pipe close to a server room for him to realize he needed to have water sensors in it. He bought the IoT device, which is the water sensor, and then he basically looked at the data, or it went through some kind of aggregator that would alert him if the water level hit the little pins and told him, or the heat sensor got too high for the temperature sensor. Helium was the connection, so you didn't have to worry about cell phone towers. You didn't have to worry about Wi-Fi. Helium was the connection from the sensor to the little server that caught it. You gotta look at DIMO the same way, where your sensor is your car, or even the little Macron or something, and DIMO is the connection service that gets that data to whatever company you're selling it to. And that's what they basically did. They basically turned it into a car IoT cell phone service, even though that's a way broad. Somebody's going to give me some kind of a-hole comment about that, but that's what it's turned into. Is that they are that paying for that connectivity. So moving on, they would love to try to make it available where you can pay for subscriptions with DIMO, maybe even like a 2-tier payment thing where you can take DIMO and have it kind of off in this coffer somewhere. And hey, when your subscriptions due at the end of the month, it's going to look in that coffer first. If it has enough DIMO, or there might be a way you can cash out your DIMO and keep it into this coffer, I guess as USDC or cash or whatever, fiat or something, it would pull out of there first. And if you don't have that set up right, or there's not enough funds in there, the second tier part would be like a credit card on file. And they are contemplating about that. He must have said it several times about how hard subscriptions are done, but that's a way of looking at it. or one thing they're looking at doing. They would also like you to be able just to pay up, like, hey, I want to pay for 8 months right now. And you would be able just to use DIMO, pay for, say, 7 or 8 months, and not have to worry about it. You can pick 6 months. You can pick 9 months. And you can pay for that today with DIMO. Again, you don't know what the cost is going to be today versus the cost of DIMO is going to be tomorrow. But either way, you might be able to pay for, hey, you pick how many months you want to pay for, and it pays for 7 or 8 months. So one thing people kept asking about, because a number of people who said they're quitting this project, basically, there were several people who said that in the Discord I was following along with, Twitter and stuff like that. And there was also a website that you could submit pictures to, questions to. But people asked, even if you don't have a subscription anymore, can you still access the app? And he said 100% sure you can access the app, so you can get to your wallet for staking. You'll still be able to stake if you want, unstaking, and moving tokens. However, you cannot unstake tokens earlier than you are allowed. And that was a huge hiccup for a lot of people. Now, I know y'all don't like to hear when Grumpy's favorite term. I keep saying I want to do a list of, Grumpy's rules. Rule number 1 is always, I told you so. I have told y'all with several projects, I don't care if it's Sword Chain, I don't care if it's Silencio, I don't care if it's Helium. I definitely told y'all during Helium, do not ever stake longer than, I would say, 6 to 9 months. And y'all sat here, and certain people, not y'all, but several people had comments to make back to me, like they normally do, about, man, you have to stake that long because that's where the good percentages are, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. In this kind of world, in Depin / crypto world, there's way too much stuff that can change in 6 to 9 months. Exhibit A, DIMO. 3 months ago, you didn't have nobody talking about going on stake early or wanting to unstake early. Now, several people are, and they're stuck. Some projects, you are allowed to unstake early. You just lose those rewards. If you were supposed to be staking for 6 months, and at 3 months in, you want to pull back your stake, you can with like a 21-day cooling period, but you also lose the rewards you made over that time frame. DIMO's not allowing it. So if you have anything staked, it is staked. I have token staked because it gave you that extra level, but I also only staked for whatever the minimum time was. So whatever that minimum time frame was is what I stay for. And I'm looking right now in my app, because I know I like to be honest with y'all. I don't like to fib, as they say. So let's see. Grumpy is staking until October 30th. So I staked 500 DIMO for 6 months. And when that 6 months is up, but the thing about this is I staked the minimum amount, which was 500 DIMO. So I still have 181 DIMO. I have 2,000 staked. So another thing that came up, and I really didn't know too much what they were talking about, but I took notes to try to pass it on to y'all, is people with dual accounts. Apparently there are some people who have some type of subscription with DIMO or something like that. Are they going to have to pay for a subscription for I'm thinking it was the Teslas maybe that they're talking about with second subscriptions. Maybe there's still a device that goes, I didn't think there was a device that goes into Teslas, but they admitted that if you're paying for subscription for device and for the online service with Teslas, it probably wouldn't make sense to do both. I don't know. And they even talked about how there is some data they can get from just linking it online to them, I guess through an online account, versus an actual hardware device going into OB2 port, because the OB2 port is the diagnostic port, which pushes more different signals and data to. One thing that there were several people who complained about while I'm sitting there thinking about it, if you have a fleet of these and you got 10 deployed, 10 DIMO, whatever deployed, you have to pay for 10 subscriptions a month. You're looking at like $100 a month if you have 10 of these devices in cabs or fleets or anything like that. And you're not making that. Even with a fleet, you're not making that. I don't know. So they also made sure that he reiterated this point. It's not that they failed to sell data. They didn't try and sell everybody's aggregated data. That's what I was trying to say that in the beginning. What they're saying is they were never trying to get all these, if they got 100,000 cars linked in, they weren't trying to take all those 100,000 cars and sell it to State Farm or something like that. They're saying they were never even attempted that, so that's why they're not considered a failure. They're just saying that for what they're paying for connectivity through LTE charges and stuff like that, they're going to have to do a hell of a lot more fundraising and seed money or whatever you want to call it to be able to keep going. So another thing he brought up, I asked him about, I wanted to know what kind of liquidity was going into DIMO, what kind of burns was having DIMO, because we've all discussed on here that when you look at this steady bleed that's happened at the price, I don't want to take any longer than I need to in this video because I don't want to go to the chart and do any kind of price analysis. If you're following this, chances are you know how bad the token's been with this steady bleed. And I have to give it to the young lady that was asking the questions because she was reading them. And I put on the Discord, about a steady bleed and what's their plans. And she said it, that there was a steady bleed of the token. Basically, he kind of deferred to that first. And just when I was coming to type up a question about him punting it away, he kind of answered it around the corner. He didn't come out with no numbers, but he basically said, there's a long list of projects with massive $1 billion market caps and stuff like that. And then they play these market cap games where people getting, because there's not as many tokens out there yet, people are getting these huge returns. And what happens is, as the rest of them tokens are released, the project fails because, I guess he was kind of pointing the finger at helium. And he's trying to say that they're trying to build a true project, a true vehicle data project, and they're not as concerned with tokens. And helium used to say this too in the beginning. And I argued with helium back then, and I'll argue with DIMO now. And then maybe this needs to be, maybe they start jotting these rules down. Maybe Grumpy's rule number 4 that says, if you choose to be in Depin/crypto, you have to play by Depin crypto rules. You can't come here with a project and want to be able to reward us in crypto and be involved in crypto and then say, yeah, we working on this Depin project. We just working on the data side of it. We want to make it successful. We ain't worried about what happens in the crypto side. You can't say that because, as we're seeing right now, if you don't not everybody's in love with projects. I think that's one thing that a lot of Depin projects fail to understand. And I don't want to start calling down certain projects. I love Wingbits to death. But there's probably some people in the team that think that they got people involved right now who's so in love with that in that Discord that no matter what happens to rewards, they'll still be chugging along. And I got bad news for them. Been in this game for 10 years now. When people don't get paid, they don't do it for free. Passive income, the key word is not passive. The key word is income. Now, you're talking to somebody who still has 19 helium devices making 30 cents a piece. But hey, with 19 devices with 37 piece, I'm paying internet for maybe 3 or 4 of them, but I also have other projects out there that's at those rooftops and stuff like that. But with me, would say Wingbits or something like that, if those rewards drop too bad, I have planned it out enough that I have enough out there to continue to make it worth my while. I wouldn't go pay a subscription to helium or to Wingbits where the subscription is going to cost more than the money, no matter how much I love a project. It does not make financial sense for me and my family. Responsible decisions for my family. And that's where I think Dimo's got this wrong. And this statement right here, where he's not worried about what the market cap is, and they're not, and we're not playing market cap games. That's fine. And they're trying to build a true vehicle project, but you can't say you're not worried about the token, because this is a perfect example. If you don't pay people, they're not sticking around. And people are not going to go pay $10 a subscription for $6 a month in rewards. I'm scared to know what the token's going to do over the next couple of months, because you have people saying, and they started staking before me, so I'm stuck. I'm stuck with 2,000 out of 2,100 tokens. But I think there's going to be a sell-off. Not financial advice. We have no idea. But one thing they did say, hold that thought. I had to go look. I couldn't help it. For the week, you're only down 4%. So you really didn't lose that much yet with this announcement. I think people are still kind of holding off a little bit to see. For the month, you're down 27%. You were at 8 cents, almost 9 cents, and you're down to 6 cents now. Scheme of things, it ain't that much. This statement right here speaks for itself. Embarrassing AMA. It's sad to see his project die. Let me tell y'all something right now. And y'all think I'm going to be flipping myself compared to what I just said for the last 20 minutes. Dude, I got to start writing this down. See, rule number 4, I really do have to make these rules. Rule number 4 was that y'all made me stop what I was doing to start writing these down. I already got 7 rules already. Rule number 7, I've told y'all this before about several other projects. I've been saying this every Monday for Helium. People think because we're getting 2 pieces of breadcrumbs for rewards that Helium is a huge failure. Helium is not a huge failure. You look at the cell phone mobile side. You look at the IoT side. You have WeatherXM and DIMO, 2 projects right there that we're in using the Helium network. Rewards suck though. A project can still be successful with horrible chitty rewards. But a project can also be very good rewarding and be a failure project / rug pull. Tell me I'm wrong. People think Dimo's completely failing or the project's dying. I disagree. They're going to keep the lights on as long as they possibly can, with the hope that you're still going to have cheerleaders in this project. You have people right now in my Discord under the Demo section and the general section commenting to my Twitter, commenting to Passive Crypto Mining's Twitter, to Tech Hustlers Twitter, and several other people who supported this project for so long, pushed this project for so long, and are now discussing this. And you still have these cheerleaders who I can tell you right now love the Demo project so much. Hey, that's on them. If they're going to go pay $10 a month subscription and make $3 and lose $7 every month, it's on them. And you will have, despite what y'all think, you will have some people who don't care about losing that money because they just believe in this project so much. And hey, and that's what he's talking about right here. That's what some of these Depin people talk about when they say, hey, we hope people love the project so much that they're not worried about the tokens are. I can tell you 5 or 10 projects on top of my head right now that say that. And I don't want to burn them because I support all of them. But the fact of the matter is, to make good financial decisions for yourself and for your family or for whoever, you've got to get paid. It's facts. Some people are going to have an issue with that. Just like some people have an issue when we discuss ROI. I tried the ROI. I want an ROI within 6 months. Some people think that that's idiotic. Some people think that that's too long. Some people think that you got to look long term for these Depin projects. Again, what I said earlier, these things change way too fast. Way too fast. A project can be 100% success. We went from making, I tell the story all the time. I don't want to always repeat it, but it's my claim to fame. I bought me and 2 buddies. Honest with y'all, I've told the story many times. I couldn't afford a helium. When I heard about helium, I'm in the RF world at work, plus crypto. It was right up my alley, just like GPU mining. I built computers and stuff, but I couldn't afford it. The only place you get the helium miner was eBay, $5,000. Me and two buddies, I convinced them to come in with me. We bought a third of each one, or whatever you want to call it. Once it was installed, we ROI'd $5,000 in 17 days. Where we screwed up, we went and bought 20 more miners, 25 more miners, something like that. And then we split up our winnings, and then we bought 10 or 15 more as a group. And then as we took our separate money, we went and bought our own devices. But anyway, and then you look at what we're making now, it's a drastic difference. But one thing that I'm trying to get at is, if I could stay somewhat on the track of this paper, I only got 2 or 3 notes left, so don't worry, y'all getting cramps watching this. One thing you will see, and it's funny how the negative comments slow down. Remember what I told you. Most people in here do support this project. They just don't want to get screwed on having to pay the subscription. Remember when Grumpy told you that? Here it is. When Rob Solomon mentioned the fact that, hey, it's okay if some people leave. We're expecting people to leave. But just remember, if 10,000 people leave us, the people that stay, your rewards are going up. Might be drastically going up. That's right. These pots are split. Every Monday when I get my rewards, that pot is split. Whatever that group, I don't have the number in front of me, but that group, that chunk of rewards is split right now. So I asked on the Discord just now, what the current number of people in this project or the current number of devices. It used to be on the app. I can't find it anywhere, but it is curious to know, listen, I'm sure there's some people that are very legit. They're out this project. What I'm also seeing right now, and I'm just reading this in the Discord, and this was not discussed earlier, is with staking. I'm reading on the Discord right now, and it could not be might not be 100% accurate, but basically you have to have a working device to be able to continue your staking to go. So if you're staked for, there were people who talked about they staked for like 18 months or something like that, or whatever it was longer. You're forced to pay for a subscription to keep your staking going. Listen, I could be reading this completely wrong, but from what it looks like, your staking stuff is now hijacked. I'm curious to see how this goes because you can't remove it early. And they said you'd be able to unstake. You can get to the app without a subscription to be able to unstake. But in 18 months, can you unstake it? I don't know. I'm trying to read this on here, and the way this is from Dylan, who is a mod here, and basically what he's saying is the way the contract works. This is staking contract. The contract works right now. No data, no value from stake that week. You can transfer the stake, so I guess you could sell it. But as Rob said earlier, the thing about alternates, can't say anything different. I don't understand what that means. No data, no value from stake that week. So it's just that you don't get rewards, but it's stuck right now where it's at. Right here he says the contract continues to do what it's wrote to do 8 months ago. This is about staking contract again. It's always been the case that if your connection goes flat, your OEM trial ends, your device dies, it's out of warranty, you don't secure cell connectivity, after the demo trial runs out, then the stake produces no value until that's fixed. So they make it seem like if you put 2,000 tokens in there, it'll be 2,000 tokens when you take it out because it's not going to gain anything. It's just stuck. So, of course, like the people who had autopods or whatever they're called, they found a snapshot that shows that What does it come with? 3M tape, extension cable, DIMO stickers, woohoo, and 2 years of cellular connectivity. Clearly says it. I've yet to see that for a Macaron. Yet to see it. Because we all knew it was on helium. It's not cellular. When I drive my truck somewhere and I'm going somewhere like deep South Louisiana where there's no helium devices, I'm not getting nothing from a DIMO device. They're giving them hell about the staking thing. Another thing I have an issue with is what I was talking about earlier is, one guy says, he's sick of the projects and changes, throw it in the trash. It hasn't made ROI, then I'll pay a subscription. I don't think so. Basically, what the majority of people are saying, and here you got another one of these Depin angel hero cheerleaders. Oh, you're only here for the money. Typical. That's the bigger issue with crypto companies. Crap at targeters. Who else do you want to target to? That statement, and it's not just with DIMO. That statement with all these Depin and crypto projects. I'm sick. Look, y'all got me cursing. I'm sick of hearing that. I hate to keep beating this dead horse, but it's like it just needs to be like for the people who are watching this, even if they ever do. But if you're running a Depin project, please, if you don't get anything else from my channel, other than maybe some people too old for this stuff, you don't get anything else from my channel, understand this. 99% of your audience is in it for the money. It's time to put our big boy drawers on and have this adult discussion. Despite how happy it seems in any of these projects right now. These projects that are about to go to AMA, TGE, mainnet, whatever you want, and everybody's positive. Everybody's positive because everybody's got these high hopes of what's going to happen because everybody thinks these projects have all this great potential, and a lot of them do. Grumpy's rule number 6. Depin people don't know how to run a business, and business people don't know how to run crypto Depin project. The people can be as positive they want right now. I give you Exhibit B, Silencio. Silencio did one token sale right when the day or 3 hours before they were going TGE mainnet, and it sunk the project that quick, because Silencio sold the tokens at some kind of discount. It dropped the price. The price went to stupid, and everybody who loves Silencio, I could say 90% of them, but majority of them in the Discord turn their backs that quick. And of course, you still have your cheerleaders in there saying we're not here for the token. We're here because we believe in the project. It's a ghost town now. I'll argue it's a ghost town compared to what it was. I can sit here and look and talk about that with Nadix, and I can talk about that with several other projects that I don't want to call out. I'm sick of seeing these comments about how dare you want to make $1 a month in this project. Nobody's doing this for free out the goodness of their heart. I'm sorry to tell you that. You, Mr. Cheerleader, you might be, but I don't even believe that for a second. You're going to say that to make it seem like you are this honorable person, but still, you paid for a device. What is you, with the goodness of your heart, supporting this project going to solve in the world? You're losing money, you haven't ROI'd, and you're going to go and buy a $10 subscription to make $5 a month. I don't know. I think we've kind of hit on basically everything. Basically, it boils down to this. Rob Solomon is now saying they were never this project that was collecting our data from vehicles and trying to sell it to ABC data company. That was never their intention. We were all misconstrued and mistaken. Hey, sillier things could have happened. Could happen. And now they are a connectivity company. They're connecting that, and then you can go on the DIMO app and search around for all these different options of what you can, and these different companies that you can connect your data to. And do stuff like that and somehow get paid? Like, my question is, and maybe somebody in the Discord, I mean, in the comment section can answer this. Are you getting paid more for selling that data? Grumpy, who's not signed up for any of those things, is making, 106 DIMO a week with 5 devices. $6 a week. $6 a week. When you divide it by 5 devices, that's $1 a week. So people who just connect to it with macarons, $1 a week, give or take a little bit. And if I connect to these people that want to buy my service or buy my data or whatever these things are, am I getting a jump in rewards because now they're buying it? Because I haven't heard nobody discuss this. For them saying that this is what we're aiming to do. We're aiming to make your data available to companies. Are there any companies even buying it? Or are you getting paid? And if ABC Data Company does come along next week, integrates their app, and starts collecting Grumpy's data from his daughter's Toyota Camry, am I going to see a jump in rewards? How's that payment going to work? Because again, there's nobody discussing that. And they even admitted at one point that they're not having those companies come through like they thought. One thing I want to finish mentioning, I think I kind of skipped over it, just like he skipped over that first, was the token. In one breath, he talks about how nobody is buying their aggregated data. But there is some companies out there buying some kind of data from, I guess, people who are connecting their DIMO to those companies. And those companies have to buy DIMO and then burn it, I guess, for data credits to get that information. So that is some type of liquidity and burn that is going on. I don't know how, I don't know how I feel about that statement, because DIMO still has to be getting money. DIMO, the company, still has to be getting some money somewhere. And we're not paying subscriptions yet. So is the old model, bro? You see how this is like, this AMA only brought up more questions. I said I didn't kept y'all on here for 30, 40 minutes, and I'm sure I didn't answer hardly any of y'all questions. I hope I kept y'all entertained enough. I hope I kind of, put my little twist on it that most of y'all seem to like. I'm sure there'll be some people with issues with this video, but hey, this is just me going over what was in the AMA today. I'm sure at some point there'll be a recording somewhere that y'all can listen for yourselves. But if you go and just spend a couple of minutes in the Discord or the Twitter, or look at some of the YouTube videos about this and read it, you can get your own summary. Don't think it's Grumpy twisting it a certain way. I got a lot of videos to do. I'm going on vacation next week. Doing a live on Thursday. I'm sure we'll be bringing this up again and discussing it. I have Rover that just came in the mail. I got to do a video on that one, and I got to do a video update some entropy stuff that's been discussed. So I got a lot going on. So hopefully y'all got something out this video. Leave a comment below. Make sure you like the video for me, please. And hey, press the like button if you don't want to see DIMO charge subscriptions that cost more than what our rewards are. We'll see. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next video.